Welcome, everybody, to No Kill in Motion. I'm David Smith from No Kill, Colorado. I'm joined today by Aubrey Kavanaugh from No Kill Huntsville and Alan Rosenberg from the New Jersey Animal Observer. Recently, we were talking, all three of us had talked offline actually, about the Companion and Animals for Reform and Equity, or CARE, which is an organization that seems to be doing great work bringing social equity to the animal welfare world. Something that we had a conversation about before on this show, and we probably will in the future, with what's happened with the pandemic. And at the same time, we have a lot of social equity protests and just talk in American culture recently. This is a really interesting time for an organization like this, and they seem to be doing a very good job of getting the word out. So I wonder what we've been looking at and how you think it actually affects where we're going. I want to show a video first of one of the a video that CARE actually put out. So we're going to take a moment here to look at that now.
Approximately 6.5 million companion animals enter U.S. animal shelters nationwide every year. And we want every one of them to find a loving home. But too often, the desire to protect pets in our care creates barriers to clearing the shelters. We should ask ourselves, are we looking for reasons not to adopt? Would this group of passionate animal welfare advocates get past the barriers found within common pet adoption applications? Please leave the group if you have young children. Please leave the group if you rent your home. Please leave the group if you are over 50 years. Please leave the group if you don't have a fenced-in yard. Please leave the group if you have other pets in your home. Please leave the group if you work more than 40 hours per week. Please leave the group if you travel for work. Potential adopters want to do the right thing. Let's help them. People without homes, seniors, renters, families with small children, and other marginalized groups all have love to give. Together, we can remove barriers to adoption so they too can share their lives with companion animals. Inclusion equals life-saving.
Well, I really love that video. That is, it's powerful, it's simple, it's very easy to understand. I really like what I saw there. Aubrey, why don't you tell us, what you thought when you looked at this video?
Well, I stumbled across that video quite by accident on Facebook of all places, and I watched it, and I found myself kind of leaning forward in my seat and kind of cheering, even though I was by myself. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a blog that Nathan Winograd wrote years ago, and I think he included the concept in his book Redemption: good homes need not apply. What that reference is to the fact that we create so many barriers to people adopting animals. You would like to think that whether it's a shelter or a rescue group, that we would presume the best of people and we would not create barriers to adoption. We're trying to keep animals alive, so we have to presume the best of people, but historically that's not been the case. And I just thought it was amazing watching that video, which is called "Are We Looking for Reasons to Not Adopt?" How many people are excluded from the adoption process because of, whether or not they have a fence or the number of hours they work. And of course it goes beyond that. There is a degree of bias when it has to do with people of color. So I was really excited to learn about CARE. there's a lot of that video and a lot of other great videos on their website. So I'm just really excited to see where they're going to go. Their president is James Evans, who was one of the founding members of Pets for Life, which is an HSUS program that keeps pets in existing homes. And the board president is Dr. Michael Blackwell from the University of Tennessee, just up the road from me. He used to be the HSUS vet, and he's a retired assistant surgeon general. So I'm just really excited about the concept, because really, if what we want is to get animals in homes, we've got to assume the best of people and presume that someone that is, if they say they're interested in adopting an animal, we have to take that at face value. Yeah, we need to keep our radar up for strange things, but presume the best of people. So I'm super excited about CARE.
So, I'm thinking, Alan, I know the roots of how you became an animal advocate. You worked in some regressive shelters in some areas of New Jersey that probably gave you some exposure to the problem of the way people are treated when they come into to pets. I know you're connected to also rescue organizations in New Jersey. So do you have any real world experience of observations you made about this problem of the way we treat certain marginalized groups when it comes to adopting and fostering or even volunteering in these organizations?
Absolutely. Prior to me doing advocacy, I volunteered at 2 shelters in New Jersey in urban areas that served predominantly people of color in municipalities that contracted with those shelters. And what struck me was the leadership in both these shelters had no diversity at all. There was no people of color at all. And even worse was how people of color in the communities were treated both on the intake side and on the adopting side. Many times people who would come to the shelter to surrender a pet, there was no effort whatsoever to work with the person to see if they could keep the pet. Why? Well, the shelter was aggressive, but also because many times they thought those people, quote, didn't deserve animals. And when it came to adoptions, many times the barriers put up were impossible. For example, exorbitant adoption fees, arbitrary and extremely restrictive adoption policies. Even owner reclaim fees could total over up to $200. That would be almost a barrier for people who were living paycheck to paycheck just to feed their kids. 2 examples in particular really struck me. When I think back about this, was one time we had done an adoption event at a boys and girls club in the city of Newark, and we had all these great adoption applications. Every one of them was not even called. Another time we did an adoption event in a pretty middle class area at a Petco, and it was a diverse area. And a couple of African American people were interested in our dogs. And the wife of the board president of the shelter was there, and I could tell she was uneasy. 2 days later, I got a message saying we're not to do any more adoption events at that Petco, even though the Petco basically offered us to do adoptions there every Saturday and Sunday whenever we wanted to. And when I asked, they said, we don't like the element.
Wow.
And that was the most disturbing thing I've ever heard in my life. So I think it's a pervasive problem. And there's also a major problem, as we talked about, David, in terms of life safety. Even if you don't care about people, if we just increase the market share in underserved communities, the whole country can easily be over 90% viable release rate. According to HSUS, Pets for Life, only 3% of people in underserved areas get a pet, compared to around 30 to 40% or so in the rest of the country. So if we just got that market share up to the rest of the country, we'd be over 90% nationwide at our shelters.
Well, when we're talking 3 to 30, we're talking about 1,000 times difference. Is that right? No, I guess it's 10, but it seems like on a percentage basis, like 1,000%.
It's huge. It's huge.
That is a unbelievable number. Well, I think I think we talk a lot about this. I think what we may have to do in No Kill Motion is see if we can get some folks from CARES to come actually onto the show and actually talk about this, because clearly we have some experience, but it's where they sit, and I think it would be great for us to talk with them sometime soon. So I'm going to stop us there, unless if you have any final thoughts, Aubrey or Alan.
I'm just excited to see where it goes. I think it would be great. I think I'm going to try to reach out and see if maybe I can get James Evans to come and talk to us to talk about, you know, what led to the group being formed and what are their goals. I mean, their messaging is terrific. I mean, I'm just so excited. I hope people will go on their website. It's careawo.org, and I'll post the link when we upload this video so people can go there and watch the videos themselves. But yeah, let's get somebody on from CARE and let's hear them talk about what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this organization.
I'm just fired up to hear about this long overdue discussion. It's been way too long that the Animal Welfare Committee hasn't dealt with this issue, and I'm hopeful it will finally happen now.
Okay, well, this has been a great session. Great seeing you both again, and everyone be sure to watch our videos. We're just opening our YouTube channel, so you can go back and see all the videos that we've done starting at the beginning of the year, and we will continue to post things out there. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.